Hello, Lastdracon here, and I'm going to give my Fallout 76 view. Now, these are my list of pros and cons, and I'm going to list off whatever I can to either hopefully can be imported to via patches, but this is some random ideas could maybe help the game and solve some issues that I'm having. First off, first things first, cat's out of the bag. I love the ability to play with friends. I love it. I love it. I love it. Playing one of my most favorite game franchises with my friends online in this game in teams of four, and I'm looking forward to fighting some very high-end creatures in this game. And I've actually run across like Mirelurk Kings. I fought Scorch Beasts, high-leveled super mutants and robots, where I know I could not have fought them alone. I would have been wrecked. But the ability to play with friends is always a good thing. Second favorite nice thing that I like, perk cards. I liked the idea. Now, is it perfect? No, it's a double-edged sword. And we'll get to that a little later along the line. Next thing, size of the map. Good God, it's a huge map. There is a lot to explore, and I have barely scratched the surface. The mire, wherever hell this is. I think this is called the Great Divide. I don't know what this area is called. And there's this area where it's, if I recall, in lore, is like mining areas, and the pollution's so bad out here. And most areas out here, you have to wear some kind of air filtration system, which allows you to breathe and not contract any airborne diseases. Somewhere like a firefighter's helmet, which has a rebreather built into it, or the actual, from all the other games, gas mask thing that you would wear in, which would most likely be a raider outfit, actually serves a purpose in this game now, because it provides air filtration to sift out all that bad shit. The pillow fort system, as I like to call it, for PvP. Now, for those who don't know how the pillow fort works, as I call it, pretend this jukebox is you. You're minding your own business. I come up, and I start attacking you. You take reduced damage. If you return fire, damn it, game's on, we fight to the death. That's how PvP works. And the pillow fort is a nice good deterrent to help prevent assholes from killing you or attacking you, whatnot, and jacking you for your shit. And I merely had a couple people try that before. So, but that's also a double-edged sword, and I'll get back to that. Weaponry. As you can saw, chainsaw's back. And yes, that was flames spitting out of the chainsaw as well. I found a mod that adds a miniature little flamethrower on it. So as I cut your ass, I cook your ass. But alas, I outgrew the weapon, and it just wasn't quite cutting it anymore. Pun intended. There's crossbows, throwing knives, throwing spears, tomahawks, spears to actually fight in melee. There are gauntlets with spikes on it. There's a fire axe. There's a wood chopping axe. There's a hatchet. There's scythes, as in handheld grain reaping scythes. All kinds of good toys to play with. There's new armor. There's the new excavator power armor, which in lore was made for mining operations to allow the miners to tunnel deep and to haul out heavy payloads while protecting them at the same time. If you have a full set, then you're able to carry 100 additional pounds. I also would have liked, it was a mod in Fallout 4 called the Constructor or Contractor power armor, which was completely cobbled together out of construction equipment. The lore behind it from the creator, if I remember right, was that the sole survivor was a construction worker before and after his time in the military. And then when the bombs fell and he came out of the vault, and he knew he needed an edge in the wasteland, and power armor is obviously an edge. So he managed to get the chassis all the way to a construction site and proceeded to craft his power armor. And they would be like a bulldozer pistons in the legs, and I think in the arms. The chest piece was another good meaty chunk. The helmet was a giant oversized version of a welder's mask, and it looked fucking badass. He balanced it out right, so it wasn't at like uber powerful. I think it was on par with the T50 power armor, I think, which is the middle ranked power armor, because it would be Raider power armor, T45, T50 or 51, I can't remember what it was, T60, and then the XO power armor, which being the elite armor. You got your little emotes right here. You got your favorite wheel to highlight your weaponry. Let's see what else. There are resource nodes which you can claim to get scrap. And let's see, for example, there's one right here. At this site, you can get lead, silver, you can grow crops, you can get water, you can get crystal and wood. And you gotta claim it by clearing out all the enemy NPCs in the area. And then you claim it, and then you gotta do what I did for my home base, which is build an extractor. This extractor will pump out shit from that's in the earth, and you get to collect it, similar to how a purifier works. You gotta know the plans, and you gotta provide it with power, like right here. I think this takes like 10 power, but it's a site that constantly pumps out mats for crafting or selling if you bulk it. Let's see, with the workshop, the workshop areas, the public workshops, it's a PvP zone. For someone else to take it from you, they got to put a bullet in your head to claim it. Let's see. The camps, you can just pack up and move wherever you want. Whenever. Well, wherever has its restrictions. Like, you can't literally pick a spot. Like, I can't literally go to Cliffwatch and build it right there on site where there's pre-existing buildings and capitalize on it. You got to build it some distance away, and you cannot build it right up on another player's camp. It's got to be spaced out. I could build it here, and then eventually at one point I had a camp out here on Twin Lakes, and then another one over here south of Camden Park. So you can go just about anywhere. I chose somewhere right around the middle-ish, which is always a good thing, because fast travel costs caps. Alrighty. Now, some things I'd like to see added before we get to the cons. Nail gun. I have to put that out there. The nail gun was my most favorite weapon in New Vegas, aside from the chainsaw. It was an amazing metal sink. It was silent. I think it was silent. It penetrated armor just a little bit. It spat out ammo, and crafting ammo for it was very easily. And they can easily change it so it's not really OP in this game. Obviously, I would like to see the contractor power armor, but that was a mod, and they'd have to talk to the creator of the maker of the mod to use his assets and whatnot to bring it in the game. But it looked amazing. Let's see. Factions would be nice too, so like you choose a faction on who to side with, and if you run across any other enemy factions, PvP's on. Stash. Originally, the stash was 400 pounds. And that included all your junk. So there was a limit on how much you can put in it. Basically, it was a second inventory on you, but it only held so much. And recently, Bethesda caved in and increased it by 50%, making it from 400 to 600 pounds. Yeah, I'm for with increasing the stash, but I really would have liked to have worked for it to earn it. They could have gone a crafting method, which I believe a guy pitched that idea in a article, and he's actually a game designer too. I thought up the exact same thing around day 2 on the beta. Like, your initial cost to get your stash, 10 wood, 10 steel, whatever. And that's their 400 pounds. To get to 600 pounds, 200 wood, 200 steel, and some screws and some tape. 800 pounds. Now you're increasing it exponentially from there. 700 wood, 700 steel, 100 adhesive, 100 screws, springs, yada yada yada. To get 1,000 pounds, 1,500 pounds, you need 1,000 wood, 1,000 steel, 200 adhesive, aluminum, titanium, yada yada. You get the idea. You got to put in the time and the grind to get your stash increased, which would kind of give more things for people to work for and whatnot. Let's see, what else? Now, the other items that I could pitch for changes, which go inside with the cons. Glitches. Yes, there are glitches in the game. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to say it's a perfect game. Ooh, I am hungry, so give me 1 second and I will continue. I think I got some preserved mashed potatoes still. Nope. Nope. Alright, give me 1 second. I apologize. Potato. Where is it? Mute fruit. And corn. That'll hold me over. Oh, anyway. So, glitches. One glitch I seem to come across a lot is my excavator power armor. When I log into the game, I can be in my power armor. Now, the armor gives you 100 increased pounds to carry because of the nature and the lore behind the power armor. But sometimes when I log in, it doesn't register that I'm wearing it. And I could hop out of the power armor, I can hop back in, nothing happens. And the easy way to deal with this glitch is to get out of it, strip the plates off the power armor, log out, log back in, deploy the chassis, reattach the plates, jump back in, and bam, there you go. I got my 100 extra pounds again. Tedious, annoying, but yeah, it is a glitch, and I'm not gonna lie, it's there. There are other glitches too and whatnot, but I'm not gonna lie, I don't know them all, but there are some glitches that need to be dealt with. Lack of towns. This is an extremely lonely game. You can kind of say that the camps are the towns, but you literally have to. They would have to be dozens of more players in the server to simulate the towns. But then again, there's nobody to talk to, and that's if you run across the other players. And most of the time, players don't talk to each other. That's another drawback. I can come across here another player and I could be like, hey, hello buddy, how are you doing? You want to team up? You want to go fight this? You want to go over there? What do you want to do, friend? I want to let's go quest together. I want, let's go explore. I don't want to do this alone because we might run into some shit that we can't handle on our own. Shit like that. That doesn't happen. That's a drawback to the game. And yeah, that's player's choice if they want to socialize with other players. So yeah. Next up, builds. Builds coincide with the perk cards. There are no builds, technically. Everybody is, I like to call them Swiss Army knife. Because your special when you start is 1 across the board. Every level from 2 to 50, you get 1 point in special, and you can put it wherever you want, up to 15. And the cards, for example, you take this from, for example, Exterminator. If you look in the top left, that's a 1. Top lower right, that's 1 star. The stars indicate how many ranks. The number indicates how many points in that special it takes. So, for example, I only have Perception 1. I can only put Exterminate a card of 1 in here. If I had, let's say I leveled up my strength and I drew a secondary Exterminator card, I can fuse the cards together and get rank 2, which would give me 50% rather than 25. But to use rank 2, which would then turn that 1 into a 2, I would need Perception 2 to use 1 rank 2 card. Or I can use a rank 1, 2 rank 1 cards, like I'll use Perceptibobble and Green Thumb. So as you can see, I got 3 cards, all rank 1, because I have a perception of 3. That's how the perk card system is. And the reason why it's a double-edged sword, everybody's a Swiss Army. Everybody in time will get every perk in the game, and you can just swap out cards. So there's nothing's really set in stone. I wanted my character to be a crafting, roving salesman. I wanted to go wander the wasteland and then find someone and be like, "Hey, how's it going, friend? Oh, you're out of bullets? Well, you're in luck. I happen to be a crafter. Let me pull up my camp, teleport my camp over there, or they teleport to my camp. They come up to the workshop. I slap on my I put on maybe some crafting clothes, which increase, I don't know what, but I go up and I go to my tinker's bench, which allows me to make my bullets. It's like, what do you need? 308s? I got you covered, buddy. I can make tons of 308s. And then we talk bid business. How many caps or scrap or whatnot that he can trade to me in exchange for bullets. Or he needs chems. I can make chems. He needs explosives. I can do that. He needs a new gun because the gun he's using is shit. Or the gun he has needs an upgrade and he needs it decked out with mods. I can do that too. There's no real builds. There's no tanks. Everybody's a Swiss Army knife in time. At, like I said, level 2 to 50, you can put 1 point. And every time you level up, as you pick a point, you get to pick 1 card in that special. Or you can put 1 point, let's say, into perception and toggle over to agility and pick a card in agility. Or you can just go into put 1 point in agility and pick 1 point, pick a card in agility. So, and then every 5 levels, after level 10, you get a booster pack, which is a pack of 4 cards and a stick of gum, and you still get a 5th card because you leveled up. And now, with the recent patch, at level 51 and beyond, you get 2 options. You can go to, you can pick 1 card of anywhere in here, or you can take 1 of your special points and move it somewhere else. So let's say, for example, I only needed 4 agility in my loadout. So I can take 1 point out of agility, dropping me down to 4, and I can put it into luck, increasing my luck to 7. So things aren't really set in stone per se. Everybody will have every skill in the game in time. So there's no real builds per se. Alrighty. So that's that. No trade market. There is no trade market in this game. So that puts people like me who want to be a crafter and a salesman, we're pretty much out of a job. We can't do one thing we want to do and play the market. I can't go to there's no auction house where I can put you know, a full set of this armor on there, decked out like this, and players can buy it, or weapons decked out in a certain way and people can't buy it. There's nothing here. Now that can be fixed easily, along with the lack of towns. They can build somewhere out here a small little town, little outpost, which actually has full-fledged interactable NPCs, which can be ghouls. The very first ghouls in existence. Some other form of human-ish life that you can come across and interact, and it's their town. They have one rule: no violence. You can't fight, and you can't pick a fight, you can't kill or whatnot in there. You can trade, and then after that, you can go. Or you can stay, you can drink, you can whatever. You can trade, cook, craft, whatever. And that can also be a trade auction there. You can actually build a trade auction house there where players can put shit onto the market and then sell off stuff that they don't need. Let's say I have a surplus of steel. I don't need the steel right now, so alright, I can put it in the auction house and sell it to other players who can use it and make some caps. There's no player market, but that's two for the price of one right there. Easy town for trading, a town to build, and a trade market to build right there. Back to the Pillow Fort. Now, I'm gonna, like I said, it's a double edge. I'm not gonna lie. When I saw this game, one build came to mind. I was hoping there would be PvP. One role came to mind on how I wanted to play as a secondary character. I wanted to be fucking Negan. I wanted to build a character, name him I am Negan, and then just go out in the wasteland and be a raider on people. Say this couch here was a player. Well, hiding in the bushes over there would be my buddy. Another buddy over there with a shotgun hiding over there. Over here is another buddy of mine with a sledgehammer. And me, I'm coming up with Lucille on my shoulder. We all do the Negan whistle to let the person know what's happening. And we gang up, and we don't attack yet. Well, we maybe do one attack. But to get the point, you drop half your shit, and you can go. Or we put a bullet in your head, kill you, take all your shit, and we mosey on along, and you're back at square one. I'm not gonna lie, who didn't want to be Negan in this game? Who didn't want to pull a fucking Negan in this game? But alas, Pillow Fort. Now, that can be remedied easily by putting forced PvP zones. In the game here, there's what these called government supply drops, where you got to find a comm tower, load in a holotape that says that pretty much is a government aid tape, which signals like an automated government system, which sends a drone and airdrop supplies, which will have food, chems, weapons, armor. And what this could do is taken from PUBG, I believe. And what these government they could redo is that when a supply drop is inbound, Let's see if there's an example here on the map here for it. I do believe, yes, here's one. As you can see, this highlighted area is where I got a quest. Now, let's blow up the size of that from there to maybe here. So that's a nice, good, sizable circle right there. As long as you're in the circle, that which would be red, full out PvP. No pillow fort to save you. You take full-fledged damage all times, unless you're obviously in a team. So then, that's 3 people you don't have to worry about. And so, the cargo is dropped in the heart. You get to the cargo. You don't loot. There's nothing to loot out of it except for a container, which you have to carry in your inventory. And you have the football, as it were. You cannot fast travel. You got to leave the circle entirely and get to your camp. Deposit said item into your camp, and that's the only way to claim it. But if you get popped by a player, guess what? You fumbled the ball. The supplies are now theirs if they can get it to their camp. And it could be tailored to your level, for obvious reasons. And there could be a second currency, well, third form of currency, unless you could include the random knickknacks that you trade in the game, aside from caps. But this currency could be special circuitry boards for, let's say, a trade outpost where their systems are failing, and these circuits are the only thing that can help them out. So they happen to have a surplus of endgame items. And in order for you to get endgame items, you trade in these parts. You trade in maybe 10, 15 parts, and you have enough to buy maybe a weapon or a piece of armor or a piece of endgame power armor, like uber elite power armor, and so on, so forth. So that could be a possible idea for forced PvP and whatnot. Let's see. But yeah, that's pretty much all I got right now. I can think off the top of my head. Right now, my mind is elsewhere on personal issues. But that's my 2 cents on the game. Is it a perfect game? No. Is it worth $60? Fuck no. I was able to get mine just over $35. I'm happy. That's a fucking steal. People, on the other hand, were bitching and complaining when the price dropped. Happened a week after the game. And why did the price drop? Black Friday, Cyber Monday. And people were bitching. No shit. It's Black Friday. It's Cyber Monday. Shit's on clearance on these days. It only happens twice a year. Shit gets cut. And most people got the game day one. Now, I'm not going to lie. I was going to be one of those people who got it game day one. But I was short. I did not have the money then. So I was going to get it at the end of the month. Then Cyber Monday came. I saw the price drop. I jumped on that shit. I jumped on that $40 price tag like Michael Jackson on an 8-year-old boy. I got on that deal quick. And I got it dirt cheap. Now, my verdict on the game, it's a beautiful mess. It can be hopefully saved in time with patches. So, hopefully, in time, the game will be fixed, and then everybody can have fun. They can draw a lot of inspiration from other games. Trade markets for players. I completely forgot about this. For trades, they can probably pull a Elder Scrolls Online, which is another one of their games. How that works is that guilds have these there's these market stalls that are scattered all throughout Tamriel, in the town, every towns in every zone, and occasionally at every teleport hub. And for once a week, the guild leader, or the VP of the guild, place a bid on a market on one of those stalls, and because each stall has an NPC attached to it, and the highest bid gets the stall, just that one stall. And whenever a player goes by, they can talk to the NPC, and that NPC will be selling everything that the guild is selling, that is created by, that's being sold by a player. Now, say for example, I'm selling a shield that is unique, or I crafted, and it's going to be tailored for low levels. I'm selling it for 100 gold. Now, I pay a fee for putting it into the market with 5 gold, I think, or it's a percentage. So then it goes on the market, and I wait, and I wait, and I wait, and I got a notice, I believe, that something of mine sold. And when I go to collect, the guild gets a cut of that. Let's say 10%. So 10% of 100 is 10 gold. So the guild makes 10 gold, and I get 90 gold in my pocket. Now that gold gets stashed into the guild's private bank, and the only people who get to touch that gold would be the leader and the VP. And that gold is used to, once again, at the end of the week, bid on the stall. So they can kind of do that with this, but they can either do the same thing, stalls in that one town, there could be an X amount of stalls, or they could make it so that there are traveling robots all throughout the land, like a Protectron, or a Mr. Handy, and that robot will patrol, let's say, this area, just this area. That's one robot. Another robot will be around here. Another one will be around here. Well, they could probably do 10 robots a server. And once a week, you can place a bid on it. And if you win, that's pretty much your shit. That robot will pass by the area. A random player can see the robot. Oh, cool! I can dump off some. I can see what this player's trading, or what they have to sell. And I was like, oh, cool! There's a shotgun that does this and this and this. Oh, it's better than what I got. So I'll pay 200 caps for it. He's asking for 200 caps. All right, 200 caps. There you go. You got a brand new gun. And they can do something like that. But of course, they got to make it so crafting is a lot more harder to do. So they actually have to make it so people actually have to invest more, which coincides with the builds. Make it so that crafting characters can capitalize on this. But again, like I said, these are all ideas and my review on the game. I'm enjoying the hell out of this game. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, there are some times where it's tedious, like I have to wait a full day for the vendor bots to replenish their caps, because I've tapped them out once a day. I bulk up all my excess junk that I don't need, overflow junk. So let's say I have 400 steel. I don't need 400 steel. I can maybe use about 200 steel. Well, I shrink wrap 200 pounds of steel. I go to a vendor and I sell it, and then I make some money. And that's how I make my caps. And you got to wait a whole day for them to replenish their caps. Or if you buy something they have, they only gain about 25% of what you spend back in their pocket, I believe, and then you can just sell shit to them again to get that 25% back. So, for example, if you tapped them out all the way to 0, you bought $100 cap recipe. So that means they'll only have 25 caps for you to get back. So you sell a couple items and you get that 25 caps out of 100. But yeah, that's how things are, and like I said, I'm enjoying it. But once again, this is my input on the game. It's a beautiful mess, and hopefully in time it can be saved with patch updates. Have a good day.